Let's go live.
Okay.
All right. So anybody that's watching, hi, Brian. Anyone else watching, definitely comment so we know you're here.
Yep.
So, Robert, would you like to do a little introduction of who we are, just for the people that actually don't know?
Yeah, sure. As brief as I can. My name's Robert Lunte. I'm the founder and owner of a vocal training school for singers. 15 years. The author of a popular book and online singing here in my studio in Seattle, Washington, and I work with singers and public speaking professionals as well, and voiceover artists from time to time. And today I'm partnering with my good friend and partner Javen Gray, who is going to be working with me and our singers in May.
Yep.
In addition to all that, in Seattle, I have another event, a really exciting thing that's happening with Draven in May, which is the Vocal Athlete Intensive. It is a 5-day intensive training for serious singers. And that's me, and that's what and I'm partnering with Draven this morning because we have this event in May that we want to share with you guys. And today, we're just going to do some Q&A.
Yep.
And help you guys out. Draven?
I run a school, rock singing lessons, and I focus a lot on rock, but have students all over the spectrum and all ages too. I have a long history in the music industry. I used to coach bands across the world in their careers. Played some really big concerts with some big names. I won't go into all the details just to keep it short. Had music on film and TV. Had I can't even think of all of it. I've done a lot, but I think this is where I'm most comfortable, is helping people advance their skill set and live their dream. Yeah. You're a lot better at helping people learn to sing better than you are at bragging about your achievements. Oh, yeah.
Is cool.
Yeah, I don't like to brag.
But
it's real quick. If anybody notices an issue with sound, like if our microphone levels are a little off, I can control that directly. So just let us know. And if something goes wrong, please let us know. Yep. So feel free to ask any questions as well. And I think we have some submitted questions already that people wanted to know about before we did this.
Yep. Let's get started with that.
Cool. Okay. So I think, Robert, the biggest question we've been coming across, and it's posted time and time again on the Modern Vocalist World Forum. It's something I get questions on even in my YouTube videos a lot. I'm sure you do too. Is, the main thing is saying, hey, my teacher says we need to transpose everything down because I can't sing above an E4. Like I'm a baritone and I guess I'm limited in my voice. How do baritones go above their bridge? How can baritones sing upwards of that? And I've been telling people too, and I know you say it all the time, the teacher's not teaching you almost right away how to bridge and connect your voice registers so you can sing up in that head voice range, probably with some power too. I keep it connected. Then you're not going to get the results you want, at least in contemporary, probably classical too. You're not going to get the results you want from that teacher.
Of course, with classical, I think you're being very polite about it, actually. But I agree with you. But yeah.
So, Robert, you're a baritone naturally, and vocal classification I don't think matters that much in modern music anyway. Yeah. But like I tend to be a natural baritone, going down to that C2, have a really bassy voice, But we both sing pretty high. We can both hit the C5 and above,
Yeah.
It's just learning how to bridge that. So you want to speak to that for a second?
I do. I'm dying to. And just FYI, there is a video that I published on YouTube called Low Voices Can Sing High, or Baritones Can Sing High. I encourage you guys to go look at it, and it deals with this issue. This is a big issue. Because there's a technical aspect to this, and there's sort of a psychological, pedagogy, teacher-student relationship aspect to this that is also interesting and concerning. I'm going to echo what Draven said, and to his credit, he's quite polite about it. I'll probably may not be able to be quite as polite about it. If a voice coach, if you're spending money on private lessons and your voice coach, and this goes for both genders, but I think that it's more of an issue with guys than women as a general rule. So I'll just talk about baritones versus tenors. And your voice coach does not immediately on the first or second day begin engaging you in discussions, whatever that may be. It could be different angles and different aspects of the same issue. But if you're not having a regular discussion and homework and assignments and techniques that are designed to help you increase your singing range, to help you to sing higher and increase your range, and that would have to include learning how to bridge the vocal break, the passaggio, and connect in the head voice. If you're not having those conversations immediately, my advice for you really is to find a door and say thank you very much, find a door, and walk out.
Yeah, well, I think maybe there's another alternative to that too, is ask them. Say, I want to learn to sing high. What can you do to teach me that? And if they can't answer that right away, or if they're not saying, oh, well, let's learn to bridge the voice, ask them about that. Say, I want to learn to bridge and connect my voice. How do I do that? And if they can't answer you, then walk out. It's not worth it. It's not worth the money.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, that's fair and square. Ask your teacher, well, can you demonstrate for me a slow and controlled ascending glissando, which is fancy Italian for vocal siren, through the vocal break into the head voice? And I want to just get to the point here. Oftentimes what happens is male students are told to not sing high, or that they can't sing high. And the truth is, you can. Believe me, you can. You can. But the reason you're being told that is because your teacher doesn't know how to teach you how to sing. Know how to teach you to sing through the passaggio, through the vocal break. They don't have a repertoire of techniques and understanding of how to do it. Let them know how to do it themselves. Now, I don't want to sound too cynical here. I'm just being really straight shooter with you guys. Okay? So any notion that, well, you can't sing high, you have to sing baritone for the rest of your life, that is BS.
Totally.
How do I know that? Because I've been doing this for 30 years, and I teach about 30 students a day. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I happen to be a baritone. Can you tell by my speaking voice? And I can sing high. And I can sing Journey songs, and I can sing Dream Theater songs, and so can Javen. Hell, Javen's a baritone, and he can sing even higher than I can. You know, the key here is training. It's training, and training the right techniques, and working with a program and coaches like Draven and myself that can show you how.
Okay, so let's show them how.
I see. Okay.
Just because that's the other thing I see come up a lot in the comments to our videos is like, okay, you guys talked about it a lot, and even if we give a demonstration, I still hear that, like, you guys talked about it a lot, but there's no exercise there. What do I do? So
yeah. Okay. Okay.
And we have a free mini course that addresses this in more detail as well. We'll show you that in a minute. But the biggest thing is what, Robert, you call lift up and pull back, where you're actually bridging the voice, coming back, lightening up, opening up the vocal cords a bit, getting more air. It's called bleeding the glottis, and coming up high, that through a siren, through a glissando, like you said, that and that's a light phonation. You can still do it connected, and I'm singing through the whole thing. Honestly, you might not at first. When you're trying to bleed the glottis, it might disappear.
Well, some people won't be able to connect it like that.
Yeah.
So the glottal bleed idea, great for people that can't yet bridge.
Yeah.
But in a sense, what Draven is saying is there's this technique. We'll certainly be going over it in our vocal intensive in Seattle in May. That helps you to get freedom of movement of your voice. It's not the end game because, as you can hear, it's kind of light and windy and breathy. Mm-hmm. It's sort of an interim solution that it's more about shutting down the bad habits, right? So that you can then have a clean canvas, a clean slate, and begin to build the good habits, all in pursuit of being able to bridge and connect in the head voice and baritones singing high.
And that one thing I want to say too is a lot of students I show how to bridge and connect the voice, like the example we just gave. That it does disappear like that a lot. Doing sirens like that. Some of them can't do it at first because they can't let go of the TAs. Yeah. Let go of the chest voice muscles. So I have them start high. That's another way to learn to do it. If you can do it from head voice down into chest, great. There's a start. Try to get that to go back up now. Like, it's okay to start the opposite direction. It's just about getting the fluidity and connecting your voice like that, or bridging and connecting.
Well done. Well done. And it wouldn't be, think what we're sort of setting up here is so you guys can take away some nice value from this. If you're the person that's like, okay, you've got captured my attention. I'm a baritone. That's what I've heard. You know, someone said that to me. What do I do, guys? Please help me. Okay. First thing you do that would be a good idea is to learn this lift up, pull back technique. It just sort of cleans the slate and gets freedom of movement. Right. And that's a nice demonstration, by the way, Draven, of how that goes. After that, there's different things you can do, but I think that the next step would be to get a proper warm-up. And you have to know what a proper warm-up is, and you have to execute it properly. Okay? You have to do it the right way. So the world of vocal technique warm-ups and vocal health sit underneath are a lot of the techniques for warming up are what we call semi-occluded phonations. Semi-occluded phonations. That's fancy voice lesson talk for partially closed phonation. All right? There's lots of different kinds. All of them have value, and all of them are helpful, probably. Most of you are familiar with the popular lip trills, where you do lip trills. That is a semi-occluded phonation, and we recommend it. It's helpful. It's a good way to get fluidity and to warm up your voice. You can also do tongue trills. You can do what I advocate, my students do in my program, which is we call it resonant tracking, and it's buzzing on a buzzy M. So you go, you buzz on an M, and it's another way of doing a semi-occluded phonation, which warms up your voice. All of this, lift up, pull back, semi-occluded phonations, all this is preparatory work for getting to building the musculature for belting and getting the head voice. Now I want to take a quick a moment to explain to you the reason we do semi-occluded phonations. Many of you have been doing lip trills, or maybe the TVS nasal buzzing. You've been doing semi-occluded phonations through a program or teacher, whatever. But I know that a lot of you, it's not really been explained to you why. And it's important that you understand why. Semi-occluded phonations balance two sources of energy. One first source of energy is the source of energy of the vocal cords squeezing, the vocal cord closure. These are vocal cords when I do this. These are my vocal cords squeezing and closing. That is a force. Okay, it's an energy, it's a force that's happening. And it takes that movement and balances it with another energy source, which is the respiration. Specifically, the point at which this is respiration, these are my vocal cords. The point at which the respiration strikes the bottom of the vocal cords. So you have energy source number 1, the compression on the vocal cords, and energy source number 2, the respiration or the phonation threshold pressure. It's this times or square root of this. I don't know the actual physics equation. I should figure it out sometime. Even if I did, I'm not sure it's all that relevant. But it's this factored with this optimized.
Yep.
When this energy force, squeezing vocal cords, and this energy force, the respiration and the Bernoulli physics and everything that's involved in that, are optimized per the frequency, per the note. That is to say that every keyboard has a slightly different adjustment, slightly different physics adjustment to be optimized. Okay, so if the optimization for a middle C is 8, then the optimization for a C sharp might be a 9. Okay, I'm just using that as a metaphor.
Yeah, the pressure changes, the position changes a tiny bit.
Yeah, the pressure, the compression, the resonance, everything is shifting ever so slightly, 1/2 step. So that means all the technique has to sort of shift as well. We've talked about this before in our other. Back to the point. This optimization of compression against wind, this is what the semi-occluded phonations do. This is the purpose of a well done straw buzzing maneuver, lip trills, or resonant tracking through a nasal. Okay? And it has to be done properly. When it's done properly, when it's done well, it has great vocal health benefits, and it helps you get ready for the more heavy lifting, resistance training stuff, the belt voice stuff, the head voice work that you have to do to get a baritone to sing high in the head voice. All right. So far we have a workflow where we're building a routine for you guys. We got lift up, pull back to get freedom of movement. Then you got some semi-occluded phonation, some warm-up techniques executed properly to balance compression and respiration. All right, that's what a warmed-up singing voice would have. It would have balance, compression, and respiration balance. That's what it is. That's the physics behind it. Then you can move on to some of the heavier lifting, which we can talk about. Javen, your thoughts on that?
I think there's a couple things there. One, I use the straw exercise to warm up a lot, and I have that like a little cocktail straw. These can't be found everywhere in the world. I found that out like teaching some of my students in Australia. They have to spend $20 for a box of these just to get them shipped to them. But yeah, these little 3mm cocktail straws.
I got one too.
And it is a semi-occluded phonation, but it's also helping you get into vocal sub, helping you get a good placement of your voice, balancing the pressure on your glottis on the vocal cords. Honestly, if you can relax into a straw, which I usually have my students hold their nose first to do that, because they realize they really can't. They could go all day long, but as soon as they hold their nose, all that goes away because they're letting that extra pressure come out a different area instead of controlling it. So anyway, I have a whole video of that on my YouTube channel too, on like explaining that, how to do that. But I did want to say, like lip trills, that type of, when my students can't lift up, pull back, and they just can't get it, I have them start with lip trills because it puts you in a position that makes it easier to bridge the voice.
Yeah. Nicely done. You passed quickly through something that was like super important, and I just want to ask you to explain this because we both appreciate how important it is. You said, well, the semi-occluded phonations do this, and they balance the compression and the respiration, which was that's kind of the main point. But you also made a very good observation, which is in passing, and it also helps you in getting a sob mode, and then Well, wait a minute, sob mode, what's that?
Yeah,
because you and I know how important that is, and we're trying to help these guys. This is all about helping you guys. Okay, so I'm just calling Draven out to go, hey, sob mode. Let's talk a little bit about sob mode. Draven, why don't you tell these guys, on top of everything else, inside your semi-occluded phonation, you should be sobbing. Right? So what is sob mode? What does that mean?
Well, first I want to say, we already said hi to Brian earlier, probably before the cut video, but I want to say hi, Wenderson. Thanks for joining us from Barcelona. That's pretty awesome.
That is cool. So, I'm jealous.
Yeah, me too. We'll be over there. You're going to be over in Europe in April?
Yes, in April I'm going to be in Cagliari, Italy, with my good friend Sergio Calafiora. He's a brilliant vocalist and coach, TVS certified instructor, Patricia Torrieri and Pescari. We're working on some events in Germany, France, and Sofia, Bulgaria. Working with one of our partners at Antelope Audio. Yep.
Now, see, I'm jealous of that. I want to join you. That'll happen soon enough because we have
just
our
keep
event.
Hanging.
Yeah. We have our event in May, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too.
Yeah.
But okay, so
sob mode,
vocal sob mode, or sob vocal mode, better way to say it, is it's exactly what it sounds like. It's sobbing through your voice. It's whining or crying into the voice. Probably the best way I could describe it, let's say if I was to push the voice, and since it's early enough, I'm not going to hurt myself doing this. So, and I do this, let's see, I start on a C4 to C5. May! I'm pushing my voice out and trying to project and trying to push to hit that high note. It's unnecessary. You're going to hear this with almost every singer out there too, once you understand how to do it. That high C, that, I may. It's a little early for me. May, like getting up there and sobbing into that. I'm not having to push anymore. It's actually really easy. Those difference in sound color you just heard wasn't me pushing the voice forward. It was me adjusting my vowel. So what I'm doing is pulling into this, this sob, this cry. It's high. It's not necessarily, it's not necessarily that type of sobbing unless you really want a deeper sound color on the high end. But that, so I'm trying to keep that lifted and pulled back. And then let's say a good exercise for you to try with that. Let's try on the G. Hey! If you can sing that high, maybe I'll come down a little bit. And my software is doing weird things. All right, let me stop that. So, okay, I can't do it. Hey! I think that note is an F sharp, I think. Hey! So there, if you're going to try to get into the sob mode, hey! Hey! It's really something you're adding to your voice. Hey! If that's as high as you can go right now, that's fine. If you can go higher, up to that A. Hey! 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 I'm not having to push. It's stretching out the glottis, stretching out the opening of the vocal cords. And I would say thinning them out and making it to where it's easier to get a phonation with a less amount of pressure. And it's putting your voice, I mean, I'll let you speak to the rest of that, Robert, because there's a lot concerning what else that does for your voice and your body in general.
Yeah, okay. So those are nice demonstrations of sobbiness, but I want to sort of like dumb it down a little bit more. And Wenderson, we got your question here on dry voice, and we'll get to that next. Sob mode. So sob mode, to sob is to cry or to weep. Okay, so I know I sound kind of crazy right now. It's a little bit silly, but I'm speaking in a voice as if I'm about ready to cry. All right. So in a sense, I'm speaking in sob mode right now. Now, when I speak in sob mode, it's embarrassing. It's a little bit silly. It's weird. But here's the big secret tip. This is so powerful, you guys. I'm telling you, man. Like, in the last 15 years of doing this, it's one of the top 5 things. No doubt about it. When you sing through the larynx position that sobbing naturally puts your voice into. That is to say, when I speak like this, my larynx goes into a certain position. I think there's thyroid cartilage tilting, and there's things that are going on that produce this color that prepares me to cry. When you sing through a larynx position, or we call it the vocal mode, sob mode position, the same position you would if you were really crying, it does amazing things for your singing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not sort of like a cool trick that Draven and I came up with. This is something that all great singers do. And some people built a career on it. They may not even be aware of it. But when you start singing through a little bit of a cry, suddenly your ears open up. You begin to hear everyone doing it. Oh my God, there it is. He's sobbing. He's sobbing. Now, I'm oversimplifying, but what I'm saying is that singing really great is sort of what you could say. Singing great is controlled crying. It's the ability to sort of control. It's not only that, but it's a big part of it. It's the ability to sort of command and control this sobby movement that you can put your larynx into inside, bridging and connecting in the head voice, singing heavy metal, singing country music, anything that you do. Now, what it does is it stabilizes the musculature, all right, and it tends to sort of make bridge movements smooth and silky. Okay, so you get physical stability from it. All right. 2, it tends to throw the resonance forward to a hard palate position, which is also very favorable.
Yeah.
3, I think it warms the sound color a little bit. It puts sort of a silky, kind of a velvety warmth sound color to your singing. And 4, the fourth thing that sob does, those are all technical physiology issues. But the fourth thing that sob does, which is pretty cool, is because crying is a primitive thing that we have been doing for hundreds and thousands of years, it's sort of an instinctive thing. And when you hear somebody singing through sob, it touches people's hearts more. Sob mode not only gives you great technical stability for your singing, but it's a 2-for-1. You get to double down. It also gives you a little bit of color to your voice that hits people in the heart on a subconscious level.
Yep. And
it really, really does. Otherwise, the alternative would be to sing when you're not sobbing, and you can do that, but it gets to be shouty.
Yep.
It gets sort of like, it has a nuance, sort of a vibe as if you're hollering and shouting, but then versus crying at a note. Same note, same high note. And the last point is just because it's sob mode and it's the larynx position for crying, and we can sing through that position in our songs, that doesn't mean that the character in the story and the interpretation is crying. Okay? Sob mode does a great job of interpreting crying, of course, but it also, on a subconscious level, it equally interprets anger, desperation, happiness, excitement.
Yep.
It's all of these primitive emotions are interpreted to the listener by singing through sob, not only sadness and crying. So it's important that you point that out, because then people can kind of take this information and they'll think, oh, well, I don't want to be crying. I don't want the characters or the interpretation in my singing to always be crying. That's not what we're suggesting, and it wouldn't be that way.
I think that's just the easiest way to find that, to think cry, sob, whine. That's easier to find it because we associate it with that more. Look it up if you want. Neuroassociative conditioning is kind of what this is. Okay. You're modeling. You're putting yourself in a state, your body in a state it associates with extreme emotion. And like you said, whether that's anger, happy, sad, you kind of hold your emotions in that spot when you're experiencing an extreme emotion there and your core. Well, two of the most important parts of singing, besides like resonance, you know. So if you're, I teach it to a lot of my students as a way of relaxing. So you have the resonance, which may be anchored or forward, or the sound of your vowels resonating on the soft palate and forward. And then you have the musculature and the pressure of the voice and how you're shaping that behind it and able to relax your voice more. The reason I say it that way is because if you're not using sob, especially on high notes, you're most likely pushing and you're going to wear yourself out because there's too much pressure.
Yeah. The reason it becomes relaxing is because you're trading shouting and shouting and hollering larynx positions for sobbing, and that's one of the numerous benefits of sob is that it's also less fatiguing. I mean, man, you can just do it all day long. It's just great. I love it so much. And I'm going to say this. There's I mentioned him earlier. I'm going to go teach at his studio in April. Sergio Calafiora, good friend of mine, Italian voice coach and singer. Go out to YouTube or Facebook and check out Sergio Calafiora. Listen to this guy sing. Now, Sergio came to Seattle and lived with me for about 5 weeks a few years ago just to train and work on his teacher certification and what have you. And I remember looking back, this was about 3 years ago, I remember looking back and Sergio, just like Draven and I do, talking shop vocal technique and stuff. I remember Sergio in kind of broken English trying to explaining to me and demonstrating, trying to say in his way how important it is to sob. I remember him talking about sobbing all the time because we would play around in my studio and I'd be like, holy mackerel, dude, you sound so great. It's so great. I mean, what's going on? And the discussion would be, I'm sobbing. Yeah. I'm sobbing. I'm sobbing into my voice. And that's like, not the only thing, but the point that Sergio was trying to make to me 3-4 years ago is get your motor skills for sobbing going.
Yeah, it takes some experimentation. It takes a little while to figure out how to cry into a note. Sometimes you have to add it to what you're doing, what you're trying to do originally, and then add this, you're going that way. Sometimes it's the other way around. But Sergio reminds me a lot of Chris Cornell's voice. And for sure. There's a lot of similarities there, which is saying a lot. It's pretty awesome.
No doubt. Yeah, he's got that Chris Cornell thing going down. Should we answer?
I'm going to answer Wenderson in a second because I think that's another question that came up about hydration and stuff. But I wanted to say before we move on about sob. I put up a video recently of me singing a Tesseract song. I think, Robert, you shared your own video of that too.
Yeah, where it's on my channel. Go to student performances. And Draven's on there, and it's super cool. You guys got to check it out.
I don't sing it very aggressive like the original singer does because I was experimenting with vocal sob. Specifically, that's why I was doing that song. I brought that song to Robert in Seattle when I went up to visit, and mainly because, I perform. I can sing an hour and a half, 2 hours before I get tired. At least that's where I was. Now I can go a lot longer. But I was thinking, if I can perform an hour and a half with no vocal fatigue, then why can't I get through a 2.5 minute song without losing my voice? That's where I was with that song. I was pushing like crazy through that song. And when I came up there, Robert coached me through sob a lot more, where I had a better vocabulary for it and knew more of what was going on. And after a couple of days of working with it, it just clicked. I could sing through that whole song, no problem. I'm singing it soft in the video, but I have to say I teach, 5-6 hours a day sometimes. And I thought, well, that's my maximum. Now I've taught 7-hour days. It just opens up your voice, relaxes you a lot more, keeps you from pushing. And it just sounds better than pushing too. It just sounds good.
Oh my God. Yeah, it has that silky, velvety, sort of heartfelt color to it. That's so nice. Compliments to you on that. It was so cool. We did this video in my studio, which, by the way, to Draven's channel or my channel, type in Draven Gray, Tesseract. What's the name of the song again?
Tesseract Perfection.
Yeah. Tesseract perfection. It's kind of this cool prog metal song. It's really short and sweet. It's so cool. Draven steps up. He walks in. And no, it really is. He steps up. You see the microphone, and he kind of steps up with drama. And it was one take. It was one take. And he lays it down, and listen to the beautiful color in his voice. And that doesn't mean that it's still aggressive. It's still rocking out. It has that. It's still working. This lovely sort of understated color to it, and you can see that he's working on sob. It's sort of a sobbing exercise for him, as he was saying, and it's so freaking good.
Thank you.
It really super is. You got to go out and check it out.
And I can point out one thing. If you do go watch the video, at the very end, I decided to hold out the note instead of cutting it short like the original. So I hold out that note, and what happened was I'm holding this note. I've only been doing sob for 2 days. So I go to hold the note, sounds great. I start pushing the note, so I come out of vocal sob, and it goes a little flat. And then I try to find the sob again, and it doesn't work, so I just stop singing. I mean, you'll hear that in there. But yeah, one take, no auto-tune, nothing like that. It was really cool experiencing that. And I could overthink sob, overthink crying my voice that whole time and still feel the emotion of it.
Yeah.
Brian said he has the Halo 2 from Aston. That's awesome.
Oh, he does?
Okay, Wenderson, I'm sorry it took so long to get through that to get to your question too. I have a lot of people ask about, warming up first thing in the morning takes a lot longer. It's because you're dehydrated. You're talking about your voice drying out during the summer. In a colder place like Colorado, for instance, where I'm at, or even Seattle, where you have the heater on all the time, the winter gets the same thing. So you wake up, you have hardly a voice because you've been drying out all night. And in your case, in the summertime, if you're using an air conditioner, the Freon in the air conditioner can definitely dry you out. It dries up moisture. So the answer to that isn't just drinking more water. Drinking more water, yes, that helps. That really helps a lot. But that takes time to go through your body, and it's harder to gauge how much you're doing. What I would say to do, and something I do before performances, before a long day of teaching, is get a personal steam inhaler. It's a little steam inhaler that fits over your mouth and nose that creates steam, kind of like a humidifier, but it's just meant for breathing. Use that for 10 minutes before you perform, before you rehearse, any time. If you feel dry, use that for 10 minutes. It's going to last you several hours of feeling like you just hydrated the best you ever have in your life. And that thing's amazing because you're breathing in the steam. It's warming, it's going over your vocal cords. So it's warming your vocal cords. It's getting moisture directly to those muscles and just spending time moisturizing your whole vocal tract versus drinking some water that has to get processed through the body and eventually it'll make it up to your throat too. That's important too. But a steam inhaler is absolutely amazing for that.
Yeah. I know that our friend Jamie Vandera advocates the steaming thing, I believe. At least at one point in his career, he was talking a lot about steaming. I think it's a good idea. Hydration. I personally never had a problem with hydration.
You live in a very humid climate.
Yeah, maybe that's because there's an excessive amount of hydration falling upon my head up here in Seattle every day. And I'm not sure that I can add much to what Draven advised. I think that's a really great idea. The steaming device, the humidifier. I did invent. Well, it sounds sort of funny, but it's true. Years ago, I invented tea for singers.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Singers Tea. I'll go ahead and put the URL in here. If you go to singerstea.com.
It's I would say it's a premium tea. It's like, it's organic. It's made by a small shop as well. Yeah. It's premium tea. And
yours truly. That helps too. It helps too. It is something that I developed with a professional tea guy at a tea store. It took us 90 days to put this together. It's minty, There's 2 different blends, and I used that tea when I was filming all the content for the 4 Pillars of Singing, which was I don't know, maybe 1,000 hours of filming, singing scales. There was always tea with me, so I like the humidifier. So would recommend some minty tea, and well, you can try mine.
I'll put it on the screen for you too.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's was made by singers for singers, so I can recommend it.
Okay, so a couple of things. Let's see. Vocalist Doctor's trying to say something that is Orajel and aloe. Aloe can help soothe the throat some, for sure, especially if you're dealing with acid reflux. Yeah, aloe vera. I would say even more so doing things like the singer's tea or a mint tea. But singer's tea is, dude, the stuff you've shown me is just really awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So even the inhaler that you have, it's just amazing.
Yeah. But, there's an inhaler, this is it. It's a vaporous inhaler, eucalyptus and menthol and things in it, and it opens the sinuses. It's
another thing to do is ginger and honey.
Yeah.
Ginger and honey can help soothe the throat too. I actually use like this little thing, Singer's Saving Grace. A lot of throat sprays like this, or actually, I wouldn't call it a throat spray. If you spray it directly on your throat, you won't be able to breathe for a few hours. But but getting this to coat your throat is you spray it in your mouth, you kind of swallow it, and Singer's Saving Grace has been awesome for me. And I've tried a ton of other Singer sprays that didn't do anything. So I endorse them. It's not official, but I think they're awesome too. Honey and ginger, it warms the throat. It soothes it because of the honey. I drink that on stage. Honestly, I have a little bit of ginger tea in a big liter of water, and that's honey and ginger that I drink it throughout the whole concert. There's another thing you can do. You can get a little spray bottle. Well, kind of like this, where it's a little mister bottle. You can get them in plastic in a lot of stores too. Fill it full of water. And when you're starting to dry out in the middle of a concert, breathe it in. It's kind of like an inhaler. Yeah. The first time you do it, you're going to choke a little, but you'll get used to it immediately because your body's going to be like, oh, I guess I'm not drowning, so you can do that. So you can breathe that in, and that gets the moisture directly on your throat again. It's not as good as a steam inhaler, but you can't do a steam inhaler in the middle of a concert. Although, I have to say, I've seen some singers do that. There's like an instrumental part, they'll go backstage and use a steam inhaler, then come back. So
sure. Yeah.
Brian also asked about, let me see. You had asked the best practice for sob. So, Brian, you were my student for some time. So I think, going back to some of the exercises we did, which will be a new exercise for some people, and we discussed this a second ago, just not in detail, is, well, one, know that position. Get there. Okay?
Start by crying. Start by speaking as if you're going to cry. Let's keep it simple. Yeah. Start by speaking as you're going to cry, and get past the initial embarrassment of it. Okay, look, I'm doing it right now. All right, I'm about ready to stop. I'm about ready to cry. You can tell, here it comes. Oh my God. Okay, I'm speaking in sob mode. Whoa. Yeah. And then, so you can speak in sob mode, and then suddenly break out into some journey or hold that position.
Or try to add it to what you're singing as well. That's another way. And these aren't directly like solid exercises for it. First, it's just getting used to it. Getting used to that sobbing position. And you might actually cry some at first just because your body's like, whoa, this is an extreme emotion, even though it's not. It's just you're in that position. So I would say get up into, well, that's a little high. Let's try maybe that G. Hey! If you can sing up there already. Hey! And I know you can, Brian. So getting up there. Hey! Get in that. Try to sob first and then amplify into that note. Sob that note. Hey! This is also an exercise called extreme scream pitch, right? It could go a lot higher than that to get this extreme pitch, extreme scream. Hey! That's a really good method to work with. Sob, whine the note, and then amplify it. And you can go a lot higher than that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry to cut you off, but it's sort of what you're talking about. I came up with a cool thing this last Friday. I did a 10-hour day, and for 10 hours we're whimpering like puppies.
Yep.
Whimper like a puppy. All right, that's another way of sort of, it's a visual, it's sort of a, it's a mental imagery thing that helps you kind of get into it. Let me show you what we do here. Watch this. And if you're my student, I was teaching sob. All right, okay, so now I'm speaking in sob mode because you can tell that it sounds like I'm about ready to cry. Okay, all right, you see this? Right now I'm not speaking in sob mode. I'm speaking normally, right? Now I'm speaking in sob mode, all right? And the thing is as I move into sob mode and I start talking like I'm going to cry, there's a very profound movement of the larynx. The larynx configures for cry. The larynx prepares to cry. Okay, so we're sort of tricking the body that it thinks we're going to cry, but we're not. We're going to sing through it. Sob mode is great for two things: crying and singing. So if you want to practice your singing in the shower, in the car, you can just kind of go, all right, I'm speaking in sob mode right now. All right, yeah, whoa, whimper like a puppy. Whoa, can you see that this is very sobby? All right. Now I know it's all sort of weird, but just speak through a crying voice, then make a connection, a kinesthetic connection with how that feels. Okay, I'm speaking like I'm about ready to cry. No, I'm not going to cry. I'm actually. When the lights go down and the sun shines on.
It's silly as it seems. As silly as that seems.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that in front of other people like we are right now.
That's my job to do this in front of other people. You don't have to, but in the shower, in the car, and that wasn't the best example because I'm wearing the headset and I'm not totally warmed up, but that's the idea.
And then take that, do sirens with it. Do, going through that, do sirens.
There you go.
Work through that, and just as much as you can sob through any of your exercises, the easier it's going to get to do those exercises and to sing. Just sob through your songs on purpose. Cry them. You might sound like Mick Moranis at first. Whatever. It's getting used to the position. That's not a knock on Mick Moranis. I actually like him as an actor. But so let's see.
So there's your sob.
Yeah, that's how to get into that sob. Let's see, what else is there? We have a few other questions that came up. Oh, why does my throat tickle, or why do I cough? You're pushing too hard. You're hitting your vocals very hard if your throat tickles, or you're starting to feel it, especially down here. Besides sob, you can also point your vowels up and into the soft palate. Probably the easiest way to do that I've seen help people that are really struggling. Put a finger right here, just right here. You can even cross your arms, put a finger right here, and just sing up and over. Hey! So you feel that resonance in the middle to the front of the soft palate, kind of coming out through the mask, through your sinus cavities. That helps lift out of your throat. Besides things we could talk about, your embouchure, your lift and bite, which we'll probably get into with other webinars too. And we've talked about a lot before. The whole idea is lift your voice out of the throat. Use sob to keep from having to push. And you shouldn't feel a tickle in your throat. If you're doing that, you're either pushing too hard or your resonance isn't in the right place in the soft palate. Oh.
Yeah, Draven's got a good a very strong grasp on what we would call in TVS, in my book course and things, we would call it sort of edging resonance, edging resonance, which is translates to resonance that sort of is angled forward to the hard palate. Okay. And more than just that, but how to maintain sort of an optimal sweet spot of resonance that happens to be in that region, for singing. It helps you maintain a consistent color through both registers. It makes your articulation better. It sounds better. It gets us to where we're all going. All of this stuff we're going to be continue to sob into. But I'm just sort of paying you a roundabout compliment in terms of that forward resonance, which is something that, so Javen came to Seattle and we were working on the mini course that we're going to offer you guys at the end of this free. He filmed it, and I think he kind of took away a greater appreciation for sob and hanging out with me, and then I took away a greater appreciation and awareness of resonance in this forward palate position from him. We kind of coached each other a few times. Yeah, that's important.
Let's get into that. We're approaching an hour now. I think we can start to wrap up.
Okay.
If there are no other questions, and thanks, Wenderson, for joining us. You just said it's cool hanging out with us. Yeah, thanks, man. It's really cool for you to be here.
Yeah.
So one thing that we're talking about, well, this mini course, and let me show you. So vocalathleteintensive.com/mini course. If you wanted to see the intro video and like get an idea for what it is, we're really teaching you 5 fundamental, I guess we do 4 main videos. So we're teaching you a lot of fundamental things about the voice where you're going to get the most out of your voice very quickly. And we talk about sob. We talk about the resonant placement Robert just mentioned. We talk about how to amplify your voice correctly and really get things moving. Now let me show you where this is at exactly. So if we're, I would say in May, we're doing a vocal athlete intensive. That's what I'm about to show you here. So we're doing this in May in Seattle, a 5-day intensive training course. We created this mini course to kind of complement that, to kind of lead into it a bit. So I'm going to show you this real quick. An easy way for you to find out about all of these things is right here on the website. So if you go to vocalathleteintensive.com, and then let's say you want some information on it, you start to scroll down, you're going to get a prompt for signing up for the mini course. Okay. And everything you want to know about the main event, that big week-long training event, it's there on the website. Look through it, have fun with it, but don't feel like we're pressuring you to purchase. We want you to get into this mini course and get something from us, get some good, solid value from us. So you see what types of stuff we're offering you.
Yeah.
So
gives you a chance to kind of meet us and see how we teach and how we work together as a partnership, and just sort of a sample of what you would be, sort of some of the things would be, and for all day long for 5 days in May. Yeah.
Yep. And then some private training the next day after that too. So it's like, it's a good week, and we encourage you to check that out for sure. This mini course, really check out this mini course and get into it. Ask us questions if you have any. We put our best into this just to help you get to the next level of singing, to sing with ease, sing with power, to increase your range. That's all there. So definitely check that out. Again, that's vocalathleteintensive.com/mini course. Or you can just go to the main page, Vocal Athlete Intensive, and scroll down, and it'll bring you, it'll prompt you to sign up.
Yep.
All right?
Yep. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks, guys. This is really cool. New experience on Facebook Live, and getting everything set up there. So this has been really cool for us as well. We've enjoyed it.
Yep. Have a great day, and we'll hear from you guys through the course.
All right. Have a good one.